David Finnegan is an expert in climate change, in the science of climate change, in the economics and the politics of climate change. His father was a climate scientist. He grew up learning about these things. He knows what he's talking about. But David's also a terrific playwright. I just, in Edinburgh, managed to catch his solo work, which was called You're Safe Until 2024, which is in a few years' time. He knows how to use the pure drama of information, of scientific information, economic information, brilliantly. He sent us a play that we, look, I'll be honest, originally it wasn't in our season. When we first drafted a season and was like, that's what we're going to do next year. And then in the period of time that followed, we all sort of just sort of kept thinking about this play that wasn't in the season, and we did everything we could to put it back into the season. It's called Scenes from the Climate Era. It is exactly what it says on the box, and I want to introduce the director of it, Carissa Licciardello. Do you want to tell us a little bit? Do you want to kind of just give a very simple description of what it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think David, when he set out to write this, was like, how do I write a story about the climate era and what it is to live through it and what it might be to live through it? And he realised very quickly that you can't do that through a single story. So instead, he's told many, many stories in one. So the play is a series of scenes or snapshots from life across the climate era. So that's way back to the middle of the 20th century, through now, through to many speculative possible futures. And that means that the scope of the work and the ambition of the work is massive. And it takes you, it might, you know, it involves things like a conversation between a group of scientists a couple of years from now, and they're trying to work out how they're going to build a kind of artificial man-made reef so that they can feed humanity. And then a few more years down the track, it's a group of mates sitting at a pub and talking about the last plane flight they ever took. And then way in the distant future, there's a man teaching his son how to shave, and that's it. So there's the whole scope of humanity and human experience in it. And I think what's extraordinary about it is that I'm sure when climate crisis comes up, a lot of us just want to kind of get into bed and put the covers over our heads because it's way too much to deal with. And I think David kind of looks at that squarely in the eye, and he takes us into the fear and the terror of what might come and might unfold and all of those awful things that we think about. But he also takes us into all these other possibilities. His imagination kind of opens us up into many different ways that the world might look, which is kind of galvanising and compelling and exciting and thrilling and keeps you in it. And he also looks at all of the things that will remain, no matter what changes, the kind of human connection and love and joy. And so it's quite a incredible, special work, which we're really excited to be doing.
Extremely excited. It's really interesting, this question of like there's this thing that gets said inside a lot of circles around the art, which is that there's no such thing anymore as art that isn't about climate change. This is the reality of the world we live in. Everything has to be about it. And yet for theatre, like the theatre is kind of basically humanist, and for hundreds of years it's really just been about people inside rooms, and yet the experience of climate change has got little to do with the human frame. And so how you make theatre about climate change is a really profound problem for our art form. It's a basic dramaturgical problem because so much of it happens off stage. So David's solution to this is to present many, many scenes across a great amount of time. There's dozens of them. The proliferation of the sort of like turning of a diamond, really, that this play presents ends up giving you something that starts sounding earnest, but you every now and then, so, you know, like when you don't realise how much you want to drink of water until someone gives it to you? That's how I felt reading this play. You suddenly go, oh God, I didn't know how much I needed someone who knows what they're talking about to tell us what the hell we're about to go through and what we've been living through. And it's incredible service that he does. I find it a very beautiful, very human play, at the same time as giving us this kind of like highly dramatic account of what the climate era means. Yep. Anything else?
Oh, we've got an excellent cast. There's going to be an ensemble cast of 5, but you can see 3 of them plus a frog popping up on the screen behind us. The frog's a TBC. We're just seeing about the practicality of that. They say don't work with animals, but we're thinking about it. But we do have also Brandon McClelland, Abby Lee Lewis, and Charles Wu in the cast, and that's a pretty exciting place to start.
Thank you.